What's up guys? Today is a special day because I invited two of my one-on-one students at my new mansion in Dubai. What are we going to do? We're going to handle objections for 3 hours long. I'm gonna give you 12 years of sales experience how to handle objections today in my villa. Let's fucking go.
Sometimes I feel like the gap is just a repetition of, again, explaining where he is, right, and making it more obvious. That it's just a very, very short sequence in the call. I don't know if I should sometimes make it longer or no, because actually the problems are all already clear beforehand.
The most important thing of the gap is showing him that he can't do it on his own. A really uncomfortable situation what you had in the past, but I have a question. And then you go directly back to the Dutch rule blueprint, the questions that we have, to keep him on that line. What I always do, I always say something else with the same structures. So, with the Dutch rule blueprint, we have 6 steps, right? Positioning, current situation, desired situation, the gap, the medicine, the cure that will solve the pain, the problem in the positioning is 3 steps. Always 3 steps. 3 components, you can call it. First is introduction. The introduction is important to show the authority of you as a person, as a seller. Second is expectation. So he knows what is going to happen in this call. So it's not vague for him. Then we have the third thing, it is success filter, where I'm going to show him that I can step away from the deal. And what happens when I can step away from the deal? The customer wants the deal. Okay, you come on the call right now, we're gonna do this role play. Hello Dylan, how are you today?
Hi Melvin, I'm good, how are you?
I'm great. I was moving today, so I'm a little bit mess in my habit. I'm really excited for this call. First of all, I'm gonna introduce myself. My name is Melvin. I'm working at this company for 5 years. I'm currently a coach for 3 years, working with Peter of the company for 5 years now. And you can see me also as the gatekeeper of the community, because for us, it's really important that we only let people in who are really dedicated to become a success story, okay? I'm going to dive directly deep in with you. Today, the call, what is going to happen, we're really gonna see where you're currently standing in your life, in your path, where you wanna grow to. Maybe you want it for a couple of years, maybe a couple of months. What you try to achieve your goals and the destination you wanna grow to. And most important, what do you need right now to achieve your goals and get it to your final destination, okay?
Sounds good.
All right. Before I dive deep in it, before I start, I wanna be really honest with you. For us, what I already told you, I'm the gatekeeper of the community. For us, it's really important that I'm going to ask you some questions this conversation, and if I have the feeling that what we are doing doesn't fit with the goals that you have or the current situation you're currently in, we can't make a start together. But if I have the feeling that I can help you move forward, I can show you maybe the way. But we're not gonna do something together for today, okay? But if I have the feeling that this, what we are doing and how we help people, and fits exactly with what you need right now, I will do everything to make sure that you understand what we're doing and that we possibly can make a start together. Does it sound good for you?
Sounds good.
All right, perfect. So in the end of the conversation, if I think that this is the right fit, I will show you how and we can make a blast together, okay?
Deal.
All right, perfect. Let me know, what is the reason that you booked this call? Stop. This is the perfect start of the conversation, yeah? Some people just say directly, hello, how are you? My name is Melvin. What is the reason that you booked this call? Also happens. I preferably, after 12 years of sales experience, like to do this before. Yeah? Why? You directly have authority, you directly show him the expectations of the call, and directly you show him also in the third phase that we can step away from the deal. Because when you can step away from the deal, the customer wants the
deal.
Exactly. All right. More questions.
If the person on the other side is like avoiding your questions, or he's very hard to connect with, could it not be a better idea to do the North Star first instead of talking for a long time, while you could maybe lose him in the first part of the section?
You don't know if you have a connection with somebody, it's the first 20 seconds of a call. You have no idea if you're connecting with this guy.
You know what I mean, right? Like a not social guy.
You don't know if he's social, yes or no.
Okay.
I guess you find it out after asking questions to see how can you dig deeper, right?
And why I'm doing this, some people say, okay, I want to do North Star first. What is the reason you booked this call and then not next week or next month? What happens urgently that you book this call right now? And then tell him the successful, all the shit. What happens when you ask him about what is the reason that you booked this call, you go in an emotional high. He's going to talk about his pain. If you want to go back to the positioning, you go back, you go down in this emotional high, and then you have to go back. I like to do it like this. You guys understand what I'm saying? You know the X and I show you guys, right?
Yeah, makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Otherwise, you have a decrease in emotions, and we want to have it smooth in one way to the close to the price drop, and then close the client. Yeah.
I actually have a question.
Yeah.
For me, the hardest part, or not the hardest one, is like when you have the gap. So you did the current situation, the positioning, the goal situation where it wants to be, right? Sometimes I feel like the gap is just a repetition of, again, explaining where he is, right, and making it more obvious. That it's just a very, very short sequence in the call.
Uh-huh.
And I feel like, I don't know if I should sometimes make it longer or no, because actually the problems are all already clear beforehand.
Yeah. So the gap is really important, first of all, but it depends on the customer. So if you ask him the question about, okay, for how long you want to achieve these goals, and what did you try to achieve these goals? What do you think is going to happen if you keep going with the same patterns you're following for the last 6 or 12 months, where you're standing in 6 months or 12 months from now? If that gap is still a little bit fake, you keep going. It's for every stage. If the pain is not big enough in the current situation, it will be longer. But if it's really clear, like I have so much pain in my back and I need to have a normal job, I want to do online, it's almost crying. Okay, this is the side situation, right? You move forward if you have the feeling the glass is full. Like I learned you guys, I teach you guys how it works with a full glass. If you feel that the glass is full, you move on to the next stage.
100%. It's like when you feel like the pain is very clear and deep in the current situation, then of course the goals are very clear as well. You also have a 10 out of 10 when it comes to the full glass, right? That then the gap is really becoming like only a reminder question of, hey, this is where you are, and this is where you want to be.
Yeah.
Do you indeed feel like you are not able to get to where you want to be, and what do you need from us right now?
The most important thing of the gap is showing him that he can't do it on his own. So you show him, and I implement also the cost of inaction mostly always.
In the gap.
In the gap. So if you ask him like, okay, for how long you want to achieve this? For the past 12 months. Okay, for the past 12 months. So basically if we're talking about a fitness program, because I'm selling a fitness program, and you're working in sales. So basically, I believe that you can have a decrease of 20% of your conversion rate if you doesn't feel yourself, if you don't feel healthy. So how much do you make? Yeah, I make 5,000 a month. Okay, 5,000 is 1,000 euros a month. You're procrastinating for the past 12 months. You have the feeling to make a jump for the past 12 months. That is 12,000 euros. The cost of inaction I also implement in the gap. But not only that, you can say for a fitness program, you even can say how much it's gonna cost you if you keep going with this lifestyle and do not feel fit and feel healthy. What do you think will happen if you go to the hospital, for example? Like, do you know how much it costs? Like, you need to prevent that stuff. That you also can use. But the most important thing, to come back on the clue, is the gap is so important to make it as big as possible, so he knows that it's impossible to jump from his current situation island where all his problems are to his desired situation island where the problems are solved and all his dreams and his beautiful lifestyle and his full potential is stationed, right? So we need to make it as big as possible, as hard as possible, with the question, what did you try before? Why do you think it didn't work? What do you think is going to happen if you keep making the same decisions again and again and again? And the cost of inaction. Most important questions and most important tools to make the gap as big as possible. But also make him clear in the gap what his pattern is right now. For example, you guys know how I handle the partner objection, right? It's one of the ways to handle the partner objection is to show them that they are in a pattern, They're making the same decisions over and over and again, while they know they have to make a difference, and they know they need to make a difference in their life, but they always discuss it with their partner. And the outcome is always, okay, we're gonna wait. And the outcome of that is finally stay in the same situation over and over again. So I make that clear for them and let them understand that they're in a pattern and they have to interrupt that pattern. And that is, don't talk this time with your spouse, do it, and then you can make a difference. Mm-hmm. That is also important in the gap to show them they are in a pattern currently. If they see that they're in a pattern and they make the same decisions over and over again, I always say, I'm not sure if you know Albert Einstein. This is a quote of Albert Einstein. If you make the same decisions over and over again and expect different results, it's the same thing as insanity. So that's true, right? So you need to make a difference in that pattern. Yeah?
Clear.
Okay. Different questions.
What for me the hardest part is the current situation to build rapport. So for example, if someone tells a lot in the current situation, for example, they have a lot of pain points. For me, it is difficult to choose like then which pain points should I how do you say it? Start asking to dig deeper.
So, okay, the most important thing is this. I had a call with Dylan and Mace 2 days ago, yesterday. And Mace was talking so much about his problem and a youth and etc. etc. So I told the guys about the straight line theory, right? So as you know, we have our 6-step blueprint is 6 steps. You guys know the 6 steps, but it's also a line. Every sale is the same. When Dylan arrives on the call on position A, and when Dylan buys the product, he's on position B, this route he's making from A to B, that is the straight line. And we want to keep the customer in the straight line. So if you're in the current situation, you have the positioning, then you go into the current situation, and the customer is talking too much, he's going to Pluto. This is from Jordan Belfort, actually. To Pluto, or otherwise he goes to Uranus. Not a nice place to be. But you need to make sure that the things that he's saying is munition to take him, to close him eventually. If it's just shit talk and like small talk and bullshit, acknowledge what he's saying. Okay, I feel that it's a really uncomfortable situation what you had in the past, but I have a question. And then you go directly back to the Dutch Roof Blueprint, the questions that we have, to keep him on that line. And that question, Talia, is a question that goes deeper in the actually pain. So if we find the minimum of 3 pain points in this current situation, we want to ask questions about these pain points. Yeah, and if he's going to talk way too much about it and he's going from left to Uranus to fucking Pluto, then you go back to the line and you ask him a question about the pain every time again. Let's showcase it.
I think yesterday we had a great example as well, right? So when he was explaining to me about, hey, this is my pain, how I feel, and I'm sick of it, and I'm overweight, and he was explaining all this whole situation. Okay, but how do you feel now?
Yeah,
just to get him back to the line.
Exactly.
Right?
Perfect example. He was talking about his life and about what happened, and he had a stroke, and he had to learn thinking again, and blah blah blah. And the question that Dylan asked, like, okay, I feel really bad for you, what happened in the past, but which is really important for me, building rapport. How do you feel right now? How's it going right now for you? Explain me. And then you go back to the line, and then we can dive deeper on his current pain.